Welcome, one and all, to episode 89 of Peace Talk. This is really awesome. We're so close to 100 episodes, so definitely grateful for every guest we've had on here. This is, once again, a show that allows me to interview really amazing personalities and people who are just, walking their path and living their life the way they're supposed to. And today we got a very awesome guest. What's up, Paul? How you doing?
What's up, my brother? Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thank you for joining. I've said it before and I'm gonna say it again. I love that poster you have behind
This one, the thou shalt not commit logical fallacies.
Yes.
Yeah, man. A lot of fucking people committing logical fallacies these days.
Oh, yes.
To say the least. A lot of people need a good poster like this.
Yeah. I'm gonna buy that poster. I don't know why I haven't gotten it yet, but I took a critical thinking class maybe a few semesters ago. And it was the greatest thing to ever, just going through the logical fallacies part. Opened my eyes to so much. I didn't even know I was committing some myself, but it's so liberating to just be able to like hear a fallacy and be like, oh, you're saying so fallacious. Like, wow, it's made me look at logic so different. So,
oh yeah, hell yeah, man, for sure.
And I think that's amazing. I don't usually just skip to this, but you are a Libra sun, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's just so fitting as an air sign.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
So yeah, that's totally awesome. And what's the pyramid structure behind you?
This is a Sith holocron.
Wow.
I have a healthy obsession with the Sith in Star Wars, and it's a Sith holocron that I got on Amazon.
And I'm not familiar with what the holocron is, but what does that symbolize?
So in Star Wars, there, as people know, it's kind of two factions: the Jedi and the Sith. Jedi, the light side of the Force; the Sith are the dark side of the Force, or the shadow side of the Force. And one of the things I'm really obsessed with, to a degree, is exploring that shadow side of the Sith. I think it's a really cool fucking plot line. And I think that there's actually a lot of archetypal knowledge hidden in Star Wars. And I think that the Sith are embodying some pretty cool fucking archetypes. Obviously, there's a lot of killing people and taking over the world going on, or the universe going on. But, we can avoid all of that and, but embrace the archetypes of the Jedi and the Sith. So the Sith have a thing with these holocrons, where a holocron is basically something that the Sith Lord would use to put all of their knowledge into, because that's what the archetype of the Sith is all about in Star Wars, is the relentless pursuit of truth and the relentless pursuit of infinite knowledge and wisdom. And that's kind of what the Sith embody. And again, that's kind of the archetype they embody, which is something that I relate to a lot. And and the Sith holocron is where the Sith Lord would basically put all of their knowledge and usually a part of their soul and spirit into their holocron, and then that would be passed on to their apprentice when they died, or they would hide it away in some temple or some tomb where later Sith or later adventurers could find that information. So a Sith Lord usually wanders the universe, the galaxies, basically trying to find the lost Sith holocrons, because that is the source of all of that knowledge from ages past. So yeah, pretty into it. Like, I got the Sith code right here, the Sith code, got my Sith holocron, got a picture of Darth Revan right here, Greatest Dark Lord of the Sith. Yeah, so I'm a bit into Star Wars, to say the least.
Yeah, no, that's totally dope. That's something I'm not too familiar with, but I love the archetypes that are presented. So that's definitely something I'd love to talk about. If you could explain more in depth the archetypes. But before you do, for those who aren't aware, What is your sun, moon, and rising sign?
So sun is Libra, moon is Scorpio, and, I'm a Aries rising.
I was like, you have to have some Scorpio there because you got that Sith wisdom. So there we go.
Oh yeah, Sith, moon and Scorpio for sure.
Your 8th house then.
What do you say?
Your moon's in the 8th house then.
Yeah, I think so. I've got I could pull up my chart if you want to see, if you want to go through it at all. But
yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, sure. Let me I got it here on my phone. Let me just get it up real quick. But yeah, I've been told that I have a very interesting chart. Yeah, I got it right here. Yeah, moon for me is in the actually in the 7th house.
So your Aries rising is at a late degree.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably like cool.
I got quite a lot in my 7th house. I got a shitload in my 7th house.
What degree is your rising sign?
You're asking the complicated questions. I don't know.
Oh, is it like a chart, a wheel chart, or just like
a wheel chart?
All right, cool. So do you see the AC point?
AC? No, I don't. I mean, maybe I do. Give me a second. I don't know.
No, it's totally fine.
Aries. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know the symbols too much, honestly. But
okay, it seems based on your description, your rising sign is past 15 degrees. It's probably near the 20 degrees, which is really dope because you're going through a Uranus aspect in your first, which is super dope now because it's like you're sponsoring great electric energy for this peace talk. So if you're watching this peace talk, it's going down. That's awesome. Yeah. And I would say that makes a lot of sense considering your growth so far. I look forward to seeing what you do because so far, but for those who don't know, I actually got invited to be on his podcast. Amazing episode. I have his website, beyondhomosapien.com. He's also interviewed Starry Ari and other such individuals, which I can't wait to really get into that side of what you do because you're clearly tapped into other realms. I'll say that. You're clearly tapped into beyond just this world. Which is awesome. I've always seen Libra as the cosmic agent of the zodiac, like the men in black who service this world, but they got contacts out there too. So I think that's
well, thanks, man. I appreciate the hell out of you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Got some contacts over there, perhaps. One or two.
That's what's up. So, how have you been so far? I know you said you recently did something really awesome. So
I did. This weekend I had an ayahuasca ceremony. That was pretty dope, to say the least. Put it lightly. Nice. I think, dude, I think someone spiked that shit, man. I think there's some drugs in that ayahuasca thing, dude. I don't know. I was tripping, man. I don't know. I expected it to be like a fucking, glass of wine or something. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Like that ayahuasca shit, man. Jesus Christ. I think there's something in that shit. But
yeah. Said that because
dude, for real.
Did you do like a 3-day ceremony or just like
what? Just one.
Awesome. Yeah. In my experience, like it's been more a laxative, like it just clears energy. But in my end, I didn't really adhere to the diet as well as I should, and I think that came into it because most of the people who did it, they have like hallucinogenic experiences, and it's like So to hear you say it spiked, that's dope. I always see that as like a coming of age or an attainment. So congratulations. Like that's
thanks,
really
man. Yeah, I've done a shitload of mushrooms in my life, but that was my first time doing ayahuasca. It's quite powerful, to put it lightly.
What's the most mushrooms you've ever done? And in what
I think I took around 4 grams of dried mushrooms one time. But yeah, I was doing them about 3 or 4 times a week for about a year. So I did a lot of mushrooms.
What was the tolerance build like?
It definitely builds a little bit to a certain extent, but what I always found is like I don't know, you always probably gonna trip. You know, you might have to take a little bit more the next day, like if you do it 2 days in a row or something like that.
Yeah,
Probably gonna have to take a little bit more, but like you can definitely have an experience.
that's awesome. And what's the difference? Are dry mushrooms stronger than wet mushrooms?
No, actually, wet mushrooms are a little bit more strong, more intense, but because they're a little bit more fresh. But dry mushrooms a lot easier to measure, to a degree, because obviously if it's a wet, it is it's holding on to a lot of moisture, so you're not exactly sure how much you're taking, frankly. But with dried mushrooms, a lot easier to measure, but wet. The fresher the better. You know, if you get it fresh out of the ground, then that's the most potent it can be. Whether that's from a grow kit or from outside or whatever. But yeah.
No, that's what's up, man. I got some dry mushrooms last month, and I wanted to take the hero's journey and take 5 grams, and I ended up eating like a whole half O.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, I just slipped on the binaural beats and I went to bed. I'm like, if I'm gonna overdose, I'm gonna at least have a projector.
Hero's journey, to say the least.
Yeah, for sure. So I feel like it was more subconscious, like it just stretched out energy more than cerebral. But other than that, man, you know, how did Beyond Homo Sapien become a thing? What got you on your journey?
Mushrooms. So on about a year ago, or maybe a little over a year ago, I had a really intense mushroom experience where I encountered some sort of a deity, some sort of a being from another dimension or fucking whatever, a different plane of correspondence or something along those lines. And it told me, it gave me a mission, and it said, you're meant to evolve the species and to facilitate the evolution of serve as a catalyst for the next era of human evolution and take us into something new, something more profound, something more beautiful. That's your purpose. It's your mission, if you choose to accept it. If you choose to accept this mission, everything, you will have all the right ideas at the right time. You'll meet all the right people at exactly the right time. Everything will be taken care of.
Wow.
And it'll happen. And I said yes. I accepted the mission about a year and a half ago. And it said, okay, here's what you need to do. You need to start a podcast and start podcasting about this topic, about the topic of evolution and about the future of the species. And then the rest will happen as a result of that. That's the first step. So it took me a little while. To get the message down. Like I was doing it inside of a Facebook group, and I called it the Digital Revolution. And actually, that Facebook group is still there, Digital Revolution. If you want to go join, still am active in it. But I was doing the show basically inside of a Facebook group. I didn't really know how to do it. The message was kind of off. I was talking a lot about digital entrepreneurship and starting a business. It was still good, but it wasn't exactly the topic. Wasn't exactly the real topic. And then I switched and I started the Beyond Homo Sapien podcast last April, and started switching the message, talking more about artificial intelligence, spiritual awakening, psychedelics, holistic living, and all this kind of stuff. And that was going a lot better, certainly way more closer to the line. But then this weekend on Ayahuasca, I think I got it right this time. Nice. I figured out what we really need to start fucking talking about. And it's that we need to start talking about the real issues. So that's where I'm going to be taking the show. I started today. This is the first time I recorded since the journey. But I'm going to start talking more about the real issues holding back the species. Because I realized up to this point, I've been talking a lot about the glorious future of what's going to come. When we merge with the AI, when we're got psychedelics at our disposal, when spiritual awakening and conscious evolution is happening more frequently, and all this stuff, the beautiful future is what I've been spelling out so far. And it's been great, for sure. Like, we had a great episode, lots of great episodes. People, a lot of people love it. But I realized I need to start talking more about the real fucking issues that are preventing us from evolving. So that's where I'm going to start taking the show in 2019, talking more about the real fucking issues, and talking about, like, you know, the fact that the government is arresting people for cannabis, or that we're still bombing the Middle East and creating more terrorists, or stuff like, you know, people are afraid to talk to each other about the real issues in their life.
True that. That's a huge one.
You know, husbands can't say shit to their wives because they're afraid of what might happen.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff like that. Relationships, you know, like people, that's the overwhelming theme where I'm going to be taking this, is relationships. That the human element, human connections we have with each other, it's the most important fucking thing in the world by a long shot. Like the friendships you have, the romantic relationships you have, your relationship with your family. It's the most important thing. And guess what? There's an issue there. There's an issue in any of those things. It's going to affect everything else. It's going to bleed over into your business. It's going to bleed over into your workout schedule. It's going to bleed out into, you know, your voting choices and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to start talking about that a lot more, and it feels really good. But yeah, so that's the podcast side of it. But the mushroom spirit, or fucking whatever it is I talked to, was certainly right when it said that the right ideas and the right people would come to me at the right time. So about a year ago, I started developing with some of my buddies, started developing an artificial intelligence system that'll revolutionize the education industry.
Amen.
And we're making quite a bit of headway on that, and doing a lot of more stuff like that. And I'm involved in a project too to use community gardens to revitalize inner city areas, and some projects in real estate too, and a bunch of stuff like that. So we're trying to be, I'm trying to do more than just talk about it. I'm trying to also invent and create the real fucking solutions that people need.
That's what I love about cardinal signs. Like, y'all do it. Y'all really do it. And you're being changed. Do you mind toning down on the language a bit?
Oh yeah, no worries.
No, I'm just telling you, I don't fucking care. You can curse all you want. It's not a pleasure. You can curse all you want. It doesn't matter.
Good.
But, yeah. Interestingly enough, you're a godsend, bro, because what you just spoke of is verbatim exactly what I basically channeled was going to happen to us with the ceremony we did yesterday. The new moon in Aquarius ceremony, we said that there's going to be a higher order celestial being that approaches you and you see, and it will guide you. And you went through that whole process last year when Uranus was exactly on your rising sign. So all power to you, man. That's amazing. That's amazing to see what it looks like, to see. And like, you know, there's just that shift of actually acknowledging the presence of that being, which is why I like to say Libra also is like the gateway to the gods. Like y'all are able to like take it there. So I also feel like not everyone is qualified to talk about aliens or extraterrestrials. Unlike you, I feel like you're very qualified for that.
Thank you.
That's really dope. That's really dope.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, trying to be about it more.
Yeah, no, definitely. And other than that, you know, do you mind going in a bit more about maybe 3 of these relevant issues regarding, you know, what's the problem and getting away from the problem? Yeah,
fuck yeah. So I really feel something I'm going to be talking a lot about more, and something that I realized again on ayahuasca is like, okay, we need to show appreciation for each other quite a lot more. Like, okay, here's an example of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Michael, my friend, you do a great fucking job on this show. You really do. You help a lot of people. A lot of people look up to you.
Word.
You help a lot of people with this whole astrology thing. A lot of people have questions about that shit. And you help. You help a lot of people.
That feels good to be appreciated. I see what you mean. Like,
yeah.
Just for it to be out there, that's awesome.
Yeah. So guess what? You know, it's like one of those things. That's what I want to talk about more. It's like,
yeah,
guys, call your friends. Call your friends out of the blue.
Yeah.
Like, hey, best friend. Hey, best friend. How's your day going? Just so you know, You're fucking awesome. Love you. You're my brother. You know, like, feels good, right?
It does. It really does.
It's really good. Call that person. Guess what? Not, and again, and this is the most important thing, not for you, for them, because they might be having a bad day. Maybe their boss yelled at them. Maybe they had an argument with their girlfriend. Maybe they're sad about something. Maybe they're sad because you haven't called for a year. And you might want to call them and be like, hey, man, sorry I haven't been in touch lately. My bad. I appreciate the fuck out of you. Really miss you. Would love to get coffee sometime.
Yeah.
And then go get fucking coffee with them. You know what I mean? Like, it's the number one most important thing. Relationships. Like, how, not just with our relationships with ourselves, which has to come first. So you have to fix you, and then, but also be fixing your other relationships with other people. Because that's what life is really about, man. Is other people, the human connection, the human element with real fucking people in your life. Your family, your best friends, close friends. And then after that, expanding more, your acquaintances, your business partners.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you know, if you're a boss at a corporation, might be a great idea. Like, call a team meeting. Be like, hey guys, wanted to let you know. I know that you've heard about this whole robots replacing people's jobs thing. It's coming down the pipeline. Whole automation thing, you know, AI coming out in the next couple years. Wanted to let you guys know, I think you're all fucking awesome. Not going to replace you with robots. Like, going to do everything I can to make sure that you can all keep your jobs so you can feed your kids. So just in case anyone was worried that a robot, that I was going to fire you and get a robot, just for the record, not going to.
Yeah.
Because I love you. You guys do a great job, and I appreciate the hell out of you. Just in case anyone in this office is worried about that, because you saw it on Fox News. Just you know,
yeah.
Hope it wasn't keeping you up late at night. You know, like, just so you know, I'm not gonna just fire you guys out of the blue. Just for the record, like, if it comes down to it, we'll talk. I'll help you get a better job. Like, you'll be okay. I'll take care of you because I care, because I like you, because you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Like, you know how fucking good that might make them feel? How fucking helpful that might be? How good it'll make you feel when one of them comes into your office later that day crying, and they're like, oh my God, I've been so worried. I saw the news. Fox News is always talking about how the AI is coming for us. I don't have any other skills. I need this job because my kids are in college.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate the hell out of you. Guess what? They're going to work a lot harder for you. So this is the type of shit, man, that we need to start talking about.
And it's so simple too.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Love each other. Help each other.
Yeah.
Tell each other that you love each other. You know, say, hey man, here for you. Hey Michael, if you ever in town, would love to have dinner. Would love to hang out. For the record.
Where are you, by the way?
I'm in Missouri.
Oh yes, Midwest. That's
yeah. Middle of nowhere right now. I'll be getting out of the Army soon and traveling a lot more though, pretty soon. But yeah, you know what I mean? I'm like, dude, like, that's what I'm saying is I realized more. I just had a big epiphany moment on ayahuasca. Well, epiphany, more like a guidance moment where they tell you this stuff. But you know what I mean? It's like, Jesus Christ, guys, let's call your mom. Tell your mom, hey mom, love you. Guess what? You're a great mom. You know, tell them, be like, hey, you know, I know you made some mistakes when I was growing up. Just want you to know, for the record, it's cool. I got over it. You know, it's not, I'm doing great. Just for the record. You know, maybe she's worried about that stuff. Maybe every once in a while she thinks about it. It was like, man, I regret when I, you know, said that shitty thing to my kid. Hope it didn't scar him for life. You know, I want to call her up, be like, hey mom, I'm fine. Life is good. I love you. Just for the record. Let the record show. Yeah.
Beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Yeah. That's what we need, man, to go to that next level of this species. It's like, let's fucking appreciate each other. Tell each other that, hey man, I love you. If you ever in town, would love to have dinner. Let's hang out. Call me up. You know, great dude. That sort of thing.
Beautiful. So I just love how simple that is too. Like, it's something that doesn't take the most time to. It's just like caring about more. Just if anything.
Yeah.
And so, I know you also mentioned, like, you know, fighting wars that stimulate wars, and also more transparency and relationships with other people, which I feel correlates to your first point. This is a little bit off topic, but I know we mentioned this on your podcast. You're into what martial arts are you into?
I do jiu-jitsu. I've been doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu for like almost about 8 years. This will be year 9 when this year's over.
That's amazing.
Thanks. Yeah. Changed my life. Should try it. It's amazing. Would recommend.
Word. Martial arts or jiu-jitsu specifically?
Jiu-jitsu.
Cool.
A lot of bullshit martial arts out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot of bullshit.
What are some examples?
Fucking Krav Maga, dude. Jesus Christ.
Oh, no way. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Krav Maga, bullshit for the most part. Taekwondo, bullshit for the most part. A lot of karate, bullshit for the most part. There's some karate that's legit. Here's the thing, man. A lot of these martial arts, they're like religions. A lot of martial arts, they start off as a really fucking legit system, and then they devolve over time because they're the purity of the lineage. Because they all start as ways to kill people on the battlefield. That's how they all began. Karate, Taekwondo, Krav Maga. But then they get watered down over time because people are afraid of like hurting each other. People are afraid of, killing each other with these techniques and stuff like that. And they get watered down. And in a large part, it's not because it's anyone's necessary like fault. It's more just like, yeah, you can't have like 110% karate match with someone where you're kicking and eye gouging them and punching them, like, because you know what I mean? But that's the purity. Like, let me put it this way. The martial arts that are worth training in are the ones where they spar at 100% regularly. Like jujitsu. That's why I love jujitsu.
Oh, at 100%?
Yeah. I mean, what I'm saying is like jujitsu, every single time you go to jujitsu practice, every time you spar, every time that you're rolling with someone, you're going like all the jujitsu moves are allowed because it's a grappling system. It's a like wrestling. Wrestling too is another one. Or judo. I've done judo too. A brown belt in judo. Judo is similar. It's like you can do every move. There's no judo throw that is off the table. You know what I mean? Like jujitsu. That's why jujitsu works, because you're really trying to fucking go at each other the whole time. Whereas with karate, Krav Maga, they don't do that. They don't have like that full contact sparring every single fucking day. You know what I mean? Because they can't, because just the way the system is designed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's groin shots and all this other stuff. But that's what I'm saying is that, yeah, Krav Maga might have a few more techniques that are like more lethal than jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, because they're doing more like eye gouging and fucking groin kicks and stuff like that. But jiu-jitsu, you train jiu-jitsu, you'll actually turn into a bad motherfucker that will actually be able to win the fight, because you're going to be fucking fighting people every day.
So the sparring is worth it. So, okay.
The sparring is the whole thing.
So you want to actually be in an actual dojo and learn that way.
You got to actually spar. That's the whole thing. Like any martial art, if you're training in a martial art and they don't spar because it's too dangerous to spar, like that's what these karate or Krav Maga guys will tell you that, oh, it's too dangerous to spar. Can't spar. Guess what? It's bullshit.
That's so true.
You got to fight people. You got to spar.
Yeah.
You got to fight people. They got to be trying to fight you back. They got to be trying to fucking choke you just as much as you're choking.
That's the best practice.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're not fucking learning anything. You're just bullshitting each other.
That's so true.
Like the religions, man.
Yeah. This is a nice draw there. I was getting into Qigong and Tai Chi more for like internal strength.
Oh yeah, that's different. I mean, obviously, I'm talking like, if we're talking about like what's effective on the fucking streets or on the battlefield.
Yeah.
I'm saying jiu-jitsu. I mean, like you could practice if Krav Maga or karate or Taekwondo is just, you just like it because it's relaxing and it's really fun and you meet a lot of cool people there. Go for it. Fuck yeah. Awesome. But just know that like might not work on a street fight.
Probably.
And that's cool. Qigong, Tai Chi, great fucking spiritual meditative practices. There's combat forms of Tai Chi though. I don't know if you know that. They have like Yeah, they have like Tai Chi forums where they go at it with boxing gloves and the whole 9 yards.
Combat, and they spar. I went to this one dojo in El Paso. I didn't get to stay there, unfortunately, but he specifically, it's not like any other Tai Chi places, and he pointed out what you said, that most Tai Chi places, they don't focus on the sparring element, or they don't really give any real moves. So what he does is first of all, you have to wear your regular clothes, because his philosophy is when you're in a street fight, you're going to be fighting in the clothes you're in.
For sure.
He won't teach cops, but he'll teach you practical moves that are, applicable in a street fight. And you know what? He was also a Libra. Yeah. He was old too. He was pretty, like, maybe in his like 50s or 60s. And he had a knife. He's like, chop me with the knife. And apparently because of the internal strength, but same philosophy, like, you have to spar, has to be real and whatnot.
Yeah, man, it does. It's the same, just like anything else, man. You got to focus on the real fucking shit.
Yeah,
stuff that works on. Like, Joe Rogan has the best quote about like the difference between a fake martial art and a real martial art. He's like focus on the stuff that the UFC fighters are training in, and because the stuff that works on trained killers, that's the stuff that actually works. Jujitsu, wrestling, Sambo, boxing, Muay Thai. That's about it. You know, the legit fucking stuff that Conor McGregor is doing. You know what I mean? Like, that's the shit that works. The shit that works at the highest levels of the UFC. I don't give a shit about eye gouges and all this other stuff. Guess what? If I mount you on top and I get you to the ground and I take you to the ground and I'm controlling you with my jiu-jitsu, I'll gouge your eyes out all fucking day. It's easy. You won't be able to do shit. That's the whole point. It's like, yeah, I get it. You might have your eye gouge, martial art, this, that, the other thing. Guess what? I can eye gouge too. It's pretty fucking easy. Take your thumb, bam, eye gouge. Tackle him on the ground, submit him. You know what I mean? Like, do the real shit. I don't know.
Well, you've totally convinced me to do jujitsu. Somebody sent me
amazing
Gracie jujitsu video, but
amazing.
I'm definitely gonna actually go into a spar place, so that'll be dope.
Yeah, dude. Send me, if you want, gyms in your area. I'll tell you which ones seems like the most legit.
Oh, good looks.
Yeah. Send me the links. Let me know.
And to touch on your service, how long have you been in the Army?
Been in the Army for 5 years.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, and I'll just say on that note, anything I've been saying about psychedelic drugs here, just a hypothetical story, of course.
Allegedly.
Just a fictional tale that I'm telling on this podcast that I'm on, just to impress people. I'm just trying to make myself look good.
Just to give us an idea of what it looks. Not like you actually.
Yeah, of course not. Fictional story. Making it up on the spot. But yeah, I've been in the Army for 5 years.
Weird. That's what's up. And what has been your experience with that? Like, nothing too in depth. Like, what do you feel about the system?
They sent me to Germany for 3 years. Lived in Germany for 3 years. That was awesome. Super grateful for the whole experience. There's a long time where I was really angry about everything, because obviously not very aligned with who I am, and I figured that out pretty damn quick. Obviously not pretty aligned with my whole hippie baloney-ness, a whole loving each other thing. But I used to be really pissed off when I first joined for about 2 years or so. I was a really negative person, really negative, really hated it, hated the whole thing, thought it was terrible, hated my life, hated myself for joining, thought I had been tricked and scammed, all this other stuff. And and frankly, as the hypothetical mushrooms changed my whole belief system on it. Dude, if the military knew how beneficial taking some fucking hypothetical mushrooms might be to keeping people in the military and keeping them happy, probably make that shit legal real quick, because it helped. It was like, hey kid, you're in fucking Germany, they're paying your bills, it's not too bad, be out soon, be out before you know it. Guess what? Be okay. It changed my perspective quite a bit, and I realized too that it was me that was the issue, that I was creating issues at work because I was pissed, because I was a negative person. I was unpleasant to be around.
Okay.
So when I fixed myself and I fixed my attitude and started to think like, no, it's going to be great. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Of course it's going to be fine. It's going to be great. Fantastic. It all changed, as within, so without. It all changes when you change yourself. I know. That's why I'm so passionate about this whole law of attraction thing.
Yeah.
I know that when you change your internal states from negative to positive, you start viewing the world and viewing other people in a more loving way. And you say, hey, I know that my boss in the past has been an asshole to me, but today he's not going to be. Do you know why? Because I'm going to treat him nicely and it's going to go great. Guess what? That's what happens. Bam. I know. I've experienced it deeply. Try it out. It works great.
And I remember there was a Joe Rogan podcast with Paul that was he's like a researcher. Yeah, Paul. Yeah. Seeing that and other such like news sources, it looks like eventually, this might be legalized medicinally.
Yep. It's on the ballot in Denver this year.
Ooh.
Yeah. Seriously, mushrooms get legalized, world changes. You got a new world overnight.
Yeah.
Got a new fucking world overnight. Jesus Christ. That's what we need. That's what's happened. That's another big part of the messages I've been receiving lately from the other world or whatever you want to call it. That's what's happening here, man. Mushrooms or psychedelics or something going to be legalized. Bunch of people are going to take it. Ton of people are going to take it. They're going to say, holy fucking shit. What are we doing? What are we fucking doing? Why are we still working our fucking 9-to-5 jobs?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That's the other thing that we're going to start talking about more and more often.
And I think
it's like, hey man, guess what? The CEO of the company that people work at, like if you're listening to the CEO of your company, the executives at your company, they also don't want to be there from 9 to 5. And they're going to wise up to this pretty fucking quick and be like, wait a second, I could be at home and work from home and watch my kids grow up and spend more time with my wife. And it's possible. And if we want to call a meeting, we just all come into work for the meeting and then we go back home and we work on the internet, or we hop on Zoom, or we hop on virtual reality quickly and have a meeting in virtual reality.
Yep.
And I can watch my kids grow up instead of being away from them for their entire lives. Pretty fucking quick. The executives of these companies are going to be like, yeah, let's fucking do that. That's what we all want to do. We all want to hang out with our families.
No, that's
you want to hang out with your family? You know what I love? Hanging out with my family. Let's do it. Like that's what we're going to start moving towards, like soon, very fucking soon. And this is something Tony Watley came on my podcast relatively recently. He talked about this. This dude's awesome. He's like a veteran. He was really involved in the corporate world and running like a multi-million-dollar side hustle at the same time. So really great entrepreneur, but also like really knows the corporate world. And he was talking about this. He was saying, here's what's going to happen in like 2019 or 2020. One of these like forward-thinking companies, like let's say maybe Apple or Microsoft, like one of these kind of tech companies or something like that, they're at some point very soon, they're wising up to this stuff. They're going to be like, hey, guess what? You work from home for 3 days out of the week. Let's see how that goes for a couple days out of the week. Let's say 3. And then it goes really well. Productivity skyrockets. Employees happy, super happy, love the job. And the executives super happy. They're spending more time with their families, working from home. They don't have to drive an hour in traffic, twice a day. And then they're going to say, okay, let's do this 5 days a week. This is working pretty great. And then every other executive in the country and every other employee in the country is going to say, hey, wait a second. Apple is doing teleworking. Apple works from home. Everyone at Amazon is working from home. I'm going to apply to Amazon, boss, unless we do the same thing, CEO, I'm going to fucking apply to Apple because they're working from home. And then Apple or whoever, like the other companies are going to be like, well, we don't want to lose all of our people. Also, we don't fucking like this 9-to-5 job thing either. Seems to be working pretty great for Apple. Let's do it. And then suddenly, guess what? No more 9-to-5 jobs. Mushrooms come in, expedite the process a little bit. Mushrooms are like, yeah, the fuck you doing with a 9-to-5 job thing? Guess what? Go outside, monkeys. Go play in the trees. Go for a fucking walk. Walk your dog. Take your kid out to the park. Jesus. What are you doing? The fuck are you doing?
Much better.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a ticking time bomb because if you think about it, it's really just the older generation who's never taken it, who's been stopping it. I don't see this younger generation being so strict against it.
Oh no. No, to say the least, man. Like, yeah. None of us. I mean, I don't think I've met a single person in our generation who like really believes this stuff for them. Because that's the thing, like a lot of times they might believe it because their parents believe it, if that makes sense. But like that's a pretty easy thing to unravel, if that makes sense. Whereas the older generations, they were actually brainwashed. I don't know if I'm making sense.
That makes perfect sense.
They were actually brainwashed. We like the propaganda is no longer around. Like everyone here is on board. And if they're not on board, the only reason is because they're scared of what their parents might think about them.
Max.
And as soon as and that's something that we can dismantle here pretty easily just by saying, hey, give it a try. Why not try mushrooms just for the hell of it? And then
just said weed legalized as a result of millennials in politics. Imagine Gen Z.
Yeah. Oh my God. Gen Z is going to be next level. That's the warrior. As soon as they get involved, they're like, what the hell are you guys doing? You should have fixed this 20 years ago. But no, man, I really do think that the evolution is happening very soon, next year or two, frankly. I think now is the time. Now is the moment. Because here's the thing, man. We're sitting on a time bomb. Like you said. Because the thing is, man, ayahuasca, mushrooms, all these things that can really make the change happen quickly, they're all right fucking there. They're here. They are among us. They've infiltrated. They've won.
That's facts.
They've won. They're here. They're making themselves known more and more. If you haven't done it yet, would recommend. Would tell a friend. But
hypothetically, yeah.
Hypothetically. And I'm not encouraging drug use, but give it a try. And then the other thing is that was another message I received on this very hypothetical ayahuasca journey. That I was like, getting all these great ideas about saving the world, getting all these great ideas for the podcast and all this other stuff. But then obviously I was like, are we running out of time? Like, is the environment going to explode before we can make this all happen?
Yeah.
And the answer was like, do you really think that we're going to let the fucking monkeys destroy the place? They're like, there's like, you egotistical little fucking animals.
Oh my God. That's
like,
so
it was like, no, we're fixing this shit. Don't worry. Like we're infiltrating the system. Don't worry. Like it was like, how you're on ayahuasca right now, having all these great ideas. There's a lot of other people out there on ayahuasca right now having some great ideas. Like just give it a little time. A lot of people taking mushrooms these days, getting the same downloads about loving each other and healing the planet and quitting 9-to-5 jobs and hanging out with your kids more. A lot of fucking people getting that download right about now. The plant, Mother Ayahuasca was like, you fucking egotistical little monkey who thinks you even could destroy the planet. It's like, no, don't worry. Like,
oh yeah,
you'll be fine. Well, we're gonna put you in check a little bit.
That's reassuring. That's very reassuring and realistic to think, because I mean, we are just but one bit of the entire equation. I was thinking that right now. I'm like, it's so funny how we let people's words affect us when, like, in the grand scheme of things, they're like 1 out of billions out of like trillions of star systems. Like they're meaningless. So I think that's interesting. It's what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. It's
no coincidences, man. No coincidences here. We're all here for a reason.
True.
If you're listening to this, it's for a reason. You didn't just stumble upon this on some fucking random happenstance. It's no such thing.
So what advice do you have for people who may come into contact with such beings too? And before you answer that, I think there's just such a psychological difference and peace to where, you know, that the next generation will be able to do this without having to look over their shoulders and be like, oh, damn, like I'm kind of not supposed to do this, or should I do this? Versus, you know, being able to do this with your parents, being able to just be at peace, having fun, doing something that's not even really illegal. Like it's healthy for you.
So, are you talking about drugs specifically, or about like spirit realm, spirits and stuff like that?
Yeah, I just meant like medicine, like ayahuasca and mushrooms. And yeah.
So here's the wonderful thing about these drugs like ayahuasca, mushrooms, cannabis, all that kind of stuff. A lot of research out there today. A lot of fucking research.
Lots.
You can it's the truth. The truth wins. The truth wins. If you got any parents or friends who are doubting this stuff and you really wish that your mom would try cannabis because she has an anxiety disorder and you know it could help better than those fucking pharmaceutical drugs that they're pushing on her to make billions and billions of dollars while she gets worse because those drugs are poison, and you know that cannabis is the answer. A lot of studies out there, a lot of studies you could send to your mom and say, hey, mom, read this. Proven to help by credible resources. Here's another one. And guess what? Here's one showing you how those anxiety disorders or how the anxiety medication you're taking is poison. Here's 5 studies on that because they're out there. Just got to look it up. You know, that's kind of one of the big messages too, man, that I've been receiving is like, kids, you're right. The adults are wrong. Like our generation, that's the other thing about the whole millennial thing. And again, it's not necessarily trying to devolve into like a us against them mentality, because that's just the mentality that got us here to begin with. But what I'm saying is like kids, you're right for the most part. This whole thing about cannabis being legal and your parents are saying it's bullshit, you are right. Look it up. It's the truth. It's okay to be confident about the truth.
It is. I feel you on that.
It's okay to be a little cocky about the truth and say, listen, mom, I know you got this whole thing that Nancy Reagan brainwashed you with about the whole weed thing. She was wrong. Here's an article that can prove it. Here's 5 studies. Just give it a try, mom. Please. I think it'd help. Give it a try. Smoke a little weed. And then she tries it, takes a hit, and she's like, oh my God, this is great. Do I die? No. You know what I mean? Like you can craft these arguments in a very logical way and just trust that, again, that you are correct. You're on the side of truth. The evidence is in your favor. The experience is in your favor. Cannabis is healthy.
Even if it's just planting the seed, you know?
Yeah. It's a wonderful drug. It's amazing. It'll saves lives. Alcohol ruins lives. Cigarettes ruins lives.
Yeah.
Fucking opioids they're pushing ruins lives. Poison. Facts. We know that. Facts. Look it up. Look it up. Google it. Get on Google. Look up the whole weed thing or the mushroom thing. A lot of studies supporting it being great. If you need some evidence to take to mom, take to dad, or take to your friend, a lot of studies out there these days.
Growing up in a religious background, it sucks because you can show people like this the facts, but they're just so stubbornly holding on to their beliefs that it's like they still won't listen to reason. So I feel bad for people who won't do it at least once, because some people may be like, okay, maybe this isn't for me, but at least do it once.
Try it out.
Like I'll never do meth. I've never done meth. I'll never do that once.
Yeah, probably not.
I won't judge anyone who has, but you know, actual stuff where facts are out, where research has been done, like marijuana, like psilocybin, like ayahuasca. Like, don't play yourself. You know what I mean? Like, do that at least once. I totally agree with that. And once again, like back to that question, what advice? In fact, I'm gonna save this for the questions game. Actually.
Yeah, sure.
Let's take turns asking each other 3 questions. They could be about anything.
Okay.
And yeah, you'll ask me one first, I'll answer, I'll ask you another one, and we'll go 3 rounds.
Okay. So first, my question for you is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the hardest thing that you had to go through to become an astrologer and do this shit online? Like what was the thing that was preventing you from doing this for a long time before you finally were like, fuck it, I'm going to do the whole astrology thing?
That's such a great question. So thankfully, the way my path kind of embarked, I didn't really have too much of the luxury to like hold myself back. But what did hold me back was my current beliefs. The reason why I got in this path was because I wanted to prove Christianity right. I wanted to actually be an apologist. So I researched the Bible, and researching the Bible, I was like, what the fuck?
Yep. Me too, man. Me too. Fucking Christians. Me too. We'll talk about that too coming up.
Yeah, for real. I'm like, what? This isn't the inerrant word of God. Was my life a lie? Like, whoa. And right around that time, horoscopes came in, something that I never took serious. Once I got my chart read, an insatiable curiosity unlocked within me. And like, I had to know how to read this. I knew I had to read this for other people. So I didn't realize back at the time that is what kept me going, because once I did that, I got a lot of backlash, like from people, even from people who weren't into Christianity. One of the first people who openly did that, he was kind of like more into like Santeria and stuff. He's like, oh, astrology's bullshit. Like, you have to wait for transits to manipulate reality, because his whole thing is being a control freak and, you know, doing whatever instead of connecting with the astral. So I didn't let that stop me. I was in El Paso, so like I would just constantly ask people, what's your sign? What's your sign? Even when I would go out, I would try and give readings to people, which as a projector, I learned isn't that good because you need to wait for the invitation. Yep. But I was just a scientist experimenting. So people would think that I'm hitting on girls and being like, yo, you should probably get to know her first. Like you shouldn't ask a girl what her sign is until maybe a second date or something. I'm like, but I didn't care about that because I'm just trying to like learn. I'm trying to like, you know, gain some information and whatnot. And of course, people around me just kind of casting it away like, oh, he's doing this astrology thing. Like, he's pseudoscientific. So like, I would say that was kind of, I don't count it as something that held me back because it was meaningless to me. Like, I was so curious about like learning about this. And I didn't even realize I would get to this point, which is still barely beginning. But I would say like, just people's doubt, just people being too afraid to have an open mind and projecting that on me. I didn't even take offense by it. I just knew that's just where they were at in their path at that point. But yeah, you know, it definitely revealed a lot. That actually helped me understand why, okay, you know, they're just some people. For the longest time, I felt like everyone is at a certain level. Everyone's awake. Or everyone is, and that really humbled me and showed me, no, like there's still a lot of intelligent, hardworking people that don't know shit. Like they live ruled in fear. Like they don't really they don't believe in themselves. So they see you believing in yourselves and they want to bring you crab in a barrel syndrome, or they just don't understand what you're doing. So, you know, fast forward to now, I've reached a point where no one can tell me shit. Cause like I've been to a point where no one really was in a position to support me. And in that time of most need, the universe came through and was like, what's up? You want to walk this path? We got you. When people close to me kind of rejected me. So that really just kind of solidified that. And I'm so grateful.
Powerful.
So grateful to be part of this path. My question for you is, could you, well, actually, okay. What advice do you have for people who are, confronted by celestial beings like you were? How do you know, how can you tell whether they're trustworthy, and what advice do you have for them to meet one?
So let me put it this way. There's probably a little voice inside of your head sometimes. They might tune in and say some crazy shit, some crazy ideas where you're like, oh, where'd that idea come from? Doesn't sound like me talking. Doesn't sound like a thought that I normally have. Tune into it more. Listen. Don't be like, it's crazy. It's a fucking, I'm crazy. I'm hearing voices. Oh my God. No, that's what that's it. And here's the thing. At the end of the day, all of your, it's all you. That's the great secret.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there are these, you know, the gods, whatever we want to call it, the deities, these archetypal energy signatures that you can tap into at a higher level, the angels, the spirits, the this, the that, the whatever. But at the end of the day, it's you. It's all you. You are the universe. That's the great secret. It's all you. Like, you know, you are me living a different life is what I'm trying to say. The angels, that's a higher magnitude of you and your energy, the magic that you possess, because you are a creator, because we are God, you and me and this table and this wall and the trees outside.
Agree.
We are God. So when we're talking about demons, because that's where people are like, oh, what if I meet a demon? There's other stuff. You'll meet a demon, you got a demon inside of you that you need to deal with. If you're scared of demons, because there's fucking demons inside of you. They're already there. And yeah, if you try to summon one, if you ask for a demon to come in or something, like, yeah, just like it might come in, but it's you. You made it. You created it. Just like an angel. If you ask an angel to come in and help you, it will, but it's a part of you. It's an extension of your energy, of this infinite God source that is within all of us, within you.
Yeah.
People have like spirit guides and stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of talk these days about people in touch with their spirit guides, right? And all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's you. The highest magnitude, the highest order, like your highest self, whatever you want to call it. But it's you. But people can't step into that power because they've been taught by the religions and by their parents and by the school systems that you're not shit.
True.
That you don't have, people have self-esteem issues. Like, that's what I'm trying to say is like, that's something else I've realized lately. It's like the degree to which people have self-esteem issues is enormous. Because if you didn't have self-esteem issues, you would live fully in that God self that you really are. The real you. You wouldn't be like giving your power away to fucking anyone. You would be saying, hey, like, you, Michael, you are an extension of me, and together we are God.
Yeah.
And like, we're so fucking powerful, man. We could change this fucking universe.
Facts.
For real. For real. So in other words, if you're encountering some spiritual being, some angel, some demon, it's you. Is it real? Yes, it's real. It's still real.
Yep.
It is real. But it's you. It's your highest self. Or your lowest self. If it's some demon, some demonic spirit that you've somehow brought into your physical experience somehow. Like, it's you. You have the power to get rid of it or to call it in more. And the more that you lean into that, little voice inside of your head that's feeding you some great advice, the more that you start to realize that, the more that you start to embody that, the more that it comes in. The more that signal comes in real strong, till that signal comes in real fucking strong. And then that's just you.
Amen. So really just embrace it, basically.
Embrace it. But again, if it's some demonic force, if it's something negative, some demonic power or something like that, then get rid of that shit. But it's within you. It's because there's a demon inside of you that you're not dealing with.
So it's just a reflection that we're seeing.
Yeah.
A projection of what's within. That's so beautifully said.
As within, so without.
So, all right, let's get to round 2.
Okay. Question for you, my friend. What was something inside in your childhood that was really hard to deal with, but you got through it? How'd you do it?
That's such a good question. I would say it's specifically tied to self-esteem. By the way, random question. What is your north node in your chart? If you could
let me check it out. I'll check that shit out. North node. North node, is that the same thing as true node?
Yeah.
I think Capricorn.
Aha. So you were born like 91, 92?
Yep. October 9th, 1991.
Okay, great. So that puts context to saying what it said your destiny was, which makes so much sense. It's destined for greatness.
Yeah. My astrology, this is what convinced me of astrology, was I got my first ever astrology reading, which took about 4 hours. And in it, and it was free because we did a skill exchange, because I did coaching for her and she did me the astrology reading for me, and I did some marketing coaching for her. And so I was like, either this is true or she's just making it up for 4 hours for free. Like, okay, well, probably true. But yeah, and we hadn't really met each other ever. But yeah, it was amazing. And one of the things she was like, okay, so something about your life, you're supposed to like use technology to unite tons of people, to revolutionize old systems, and maybe change up education and spiritual beliefs and all this other stuff. And it's supposed to happen through technology. It's like, sounds a lot like what I'm fucking doing. Jesus.
Bomb.
Cool. But anyway, back to your question. Sorry.
Yeah. To answer that, I want to say self-esteem. I know for the longest time I've been really somewhat timid. Like I'd have my like talkative self, but I've been pretty, I don't even want to say the word was timid, because this was back before I knew my moon was in Capricorn. So I didn't know that I was just extra sensitive and psychic to like, psych vibes around me. So I would kind of internalize that and think it was something wrong with me. And I would say confidence for sure, like having the confidence to believe in myself, because I was just constantly being suppressed. I was told I couldn't do this. I was told I couldn't be who I wanted to be. Knowingly and unknowingly, I was just like projected and imprinted on. And I didn't realize how much we've all kind of broken out of that. But I want to say, and this has been so far lifelong, I'm barely coming out of this too. Like now that I'm in my late 20s, I'm tapping into a sense of confidence that now feels like I'm being arrogant, or it doesn't feel comfortable, because I'm so used to like looking down on myself or not believing it.
Man. Yeah. So, I actually, that was one of my intentions that I carried into ayahuasca was I've been feeling a lot more confident lately. And the intention I set was like, I want to know, when is it good? And when am I coming from a place of ego? And when am I just acting arrogant or cocky or whatever? And the overwhelming answer for me and for all of people, so I'll deliver this message to you because I strongly believe it's for you too, is that no, be fucking confident. Like you're right. Astrology is true. You know what I mean? Like you're correct. Like, yes, like it's okay to be cocky about the truth to a degree. Like you don't want to disrespect people, but like, yeah, like
that's what Kanye West taught me. It's okay to be cocky about the truth.
Yeah, like it's okay to be a bit cocky about, like, the world needs more truth. People need more astrology. People need more. Like, it's okay. Like, like all of the energy that we put into killing people and being super passionate about that. Let's redirect that energy and tell people about astrology and loving each other with just as much confidence and zeal, I guess, is the point. Like, no, you're not being confident, or you're not being cocky. You're right. You're on the side of truth. We need more truth. It's cool. Like there's a lot of fucking lies out there. It might take a few people who are super cocky about the truth to change things up around here.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. In the words of K. Martin, Mike, be soldier boy confident, pull the headband out. That just, I take that to heart. Seeing him do that really just set the tone for the new year for me. So my question for you, for the second question, please, could you expand on the Jedi and Sith archetypes, and especially more the Sith? What are like outside of the whole taking over the universe thing, what are like the major cool archetypes in both?
Now we're talking about the real shit, man.
There we go.
Thank you. Awesome, man. So so I believe that there's these archetypal characters. Like every single story is an archetype. Yeah. Everyone. That's why a story is good. It's an archetype. If someone doesn't know what an archetype is, it's like these themes, these thematic elements. And one of my favorite books called The More Beautiful World Our Hearts Know Is Possible by Charles Eisenstein. Great fucking book. And talks about this idea of stories that are carrying messages, because that's where these sacred messages have been hidden inside of these archetypal characters. That's how we keep them safe and pass them down to our kids and our ancestors. You put these archetypal characters in a story, so they go down through history safely. They make it, and then it's a code for you and me to uncover. So that's kind of, so there's these, and here's the other thing too. It's like the magic behind it is that I don't think the people who created Star Wars, maybe they knew all about the occult and what they're doing and these archetypes. Maybe they knew about that to a degree for sure, but I think that the truth, the spiritual world gets channeled somehow when these people are writing these stories, and these archetypal messages get imprinted when maybe the people didn't fucking realize that. So for me, the Sith are the archetype of the occult to a degree, because they're demonized, right? They're demonized by the Jedi by saying, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't tap into your emotions," because the Jedi are all about, hide from your emotions. Emotions are bad. The Jedi are the Christians to a degree. I mean, the Jedi are also, there's a lot of great messages in the archetype of the Jedi that we could talk about, but that's kind of one of their messages, right? Is like, your emotions are bad. Don't love. You can't love. Can't have sex. Can't. You got to be on the side of they're monks. The Jedi are warrior monks. It's that archetype of the warrior monk, and stuff like that. And the Sith archetype is that archetype of the pursuit of infinite knowledge, the pursuit of power, of great power. And basically this idea of tapping into your emotions and using them as energy. And that's the big thing of the Sith, is they get their power from their emotions, from their anger, their rage, their energy comes from their emotional strength. Basically, that's the archetype of the Sith, is tap into. That's what the Sith say. They say, no, Jedi are full of shit. Tap into your emotions. Use that to achieve your real power and your real potential, and achieve this pursuit of infinite knowledge and infinite power. Basically, is the message of the Sith. And guess what? They bury themselves in temples, in a pyramid temples on Korriban. The Sith, and they're little holocrons I was talking about earlier. They come in the shape of pyramids. Look familiar, right?
Yeah.
Stuff that we have around these days.
Yeah.
And for me, it's the And do you know much about transmuting energy?
I would like to talk about that. So far, what you're saying, your description of the Sith is verbatim 100% Scorpio. Answer. It's amazing.
Exactly. Yeah, man. And that's the thing too, is like, and it's not to say that Jedi are evil. There's a powerful archetype as well. And of course, I get it. In the stories, the Sith go around killing people. I get it. Like, don't do that. Don't do that part. Don't blow up planets. Got it. But the lesson is the same. The archetypal character of the Sith that you can embody in your own life, and you can go out there and help people instead of blowing up planets.
Question: Has there ever been, or do you think they'll ever make a character who's both Jedi and Sith?
Yeah, they do. The Gray Jedi. There's a whole order of them. The Gray Jedi. Qui-Gon Jinn is a Gray Jedi.
Qui-Gon Jinn. Damn. Okay.
Yeah. They're called Gray Jedi. They're the balance of both. And that's the other thing too, is if we're talking about Kabbalah and all that kind of stuff, is this idea of, that's again the other idea of this occult messages being hidden in Star Wars. So you have the inverted tree of life with its 3 pillars in Kabbalah. You have, the side of mercy, the side of severity, and then the neutral pillar that goes in between both. It's the Holy Trinity. That's what it is. The emotion is the feminine energy. The thought is the masculine energy. Okay. And then the neutral energy around which they all revolve. And then we apply the principle of correspondence, as above, so below. And we see, okay, the proton, the masculine energy, the electron is the feminine energy. Then that neutron that they revolve around, the neutral energy. And then that goes up to every level where you have masculine energy and feminine energy. And then there's the balance of the two around which they both revolve.
Bam.
And it goes up to the cosmos, and it's in Star Wars. Jedi, the Sith. Jedi are the severity, judgment. The Sith are the emotion, and then the neutral pillar, the gray Jedi.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And you were just about to talk about transmutation too.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that's the Sith code. That's why I have it here on my wall. Energy transmutation. This idea that you can change energy into other forms of energy. It's hidden here. It says peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The force will free me.
Bam.
It's a Sith code. It's a formula. It's a formula for transmuting energy. Peace is a lie. Peace to passion. Two sides of the same coin. Peace, passion. Yeah.
That makes sense. Peace, passion.
Through passion, I gain strength. Strength, I gain power. Yeah, it's a. That's what I'm saying. It's like I look at that, I'm like, oh shit. And the other thing too, the Sith logo here. I don't know if you can see it. You know this thing. It's the sex chakra.
The root, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
The sex chakra. In Kabbalah, this is it.
There is a pervading illusion of peace that does exist.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel like peace is only true peace is only attained at death, where you just no longer are, and it's like you're peaceful.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
do we have another round of questions?
Yeah, we got one more round.
Okay, awesome. I'll ask you a question. What archetype do you align with the most? Like what's the most meaningful ones for you?
I'm gonna go tarot here. Honestly, it's been I'm personally going from the Fool archetype and stepping into the Emperor, where I have to like have more discipline and basically grow up, right?
Yeah.
I really love the Magician archetype and the Hermit archetype. The Magi, the Hermit, and the Hierophant, which kind of represent the full utilization of your intention and drawing on your inner guidance to develop your own spiritual path. Yeah. I love the Magician archetype.
Yeah,
I feel like you're taking all the elements and you're creating your own unique signature.
Yeah, Merlin.
Yeah, I love it.
Great fucking archetype.
I'm starting to really get into Temperance too. I feel like that archetype's calling out to me the most, like taking it a step further and now balancing it between the subconscious and conscious world and learning moderation to where it's like, you know, if you smoke a cigarette if you smoke 5 packs of cigarettes every day, you're fucking it up. But you know, if you smoke one a day, same with, you know, substances, same with anything. If you work every day, you're going to overwork yourself. If you work a few hours a day, moderation will save the day.
Yeah.
So,
Temperance. It's a great one.
My last question for you is, what is one thing you haven't given yourself the most credit for lately or a long time ago that you can sit with yourself and be like, wow, like I really accomplished that. Like, this is amazing.
When I used to be really overweight for most of my life, really overweight, up until I was like about 19. And then I decided to join the military, and I was 225 pounds, and I was smoking a pack a day of cigarettes, and I was drinking a lot and just eating junk food constantly, smoking a lot of weed, eating lots of junk food, doing nothing with my life. And I started jujitsu, and I started training judo and working out. And I lost 65 pounds in 6 months and quit smoking like really, really fucking quickly. And yeah, joined the military. Nice. Lost a shit ton of weight. And yeah, and started training jujitsu, and I've been training jujitsu ever since.
Nice.
And yeah, that I think I forget, because frankly, it feels like something that happened to a different person.
Oh, that's really
It happened so long ago,
yeah.
and I forget. Like, oh yeah, like I posted a photo of I took like a before and after photo of that. Remember on Facebook, everyone was doing like, hey, here's me from like a decade ago.
Yeah.
I did that. I posted like a photo of the fat version of me next to a photo of me today. And it got like 500 likes. A ton of people were like, whoa. People were like fucking messaging me about it. And I was like, oh shit. Yeah, I did do that. Yeah. And like, yeah, forget that that's like a big deal, that people, it's hard to lose 65 pounds. But for me, I just really wanted to join the army and really got obsessed with jiu-jitsu, and
You just got it done.
yeah, it's easy. You know, I'm still training today.
No,
Yeah, a lot of stuff like that. You know, I'm like, man, you know.
you truly transformed into a new person. So you really weren't that person anymore. That's amazing. Yeah. That really switched something in me. So, yeah. I mean, thank you so much. I'm totally going to invite you back on for more. We could talk more. I really want to talk more about AI with you and just aliens too. But how can people reach you? I have your website down below. Do you offer any services? And yeah, how can people reach you?
Yeah, thanks, brother. I really appreciate it. Yeah, go to beyondhomosapien.com to learn everything about the podcast. I'm on every platform now. I'm on everything: YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Medium, Steam It, just Beyond Homo Sapien everywhere, or my name, Paul Tokgozoglu. And yeah, I have a business development agency that I have where basically I help business owners form strategic partnerships and build and execute a strategy to do whatever the fuck they're trying to do with their business. So like right now I'm working with a CBD company, working with a real estate broker, working with a bunch of coaches, help them grow their business, Facebook ads, Google ads, coaching, chatbots, email, copy, writing, whatever you need. It's like a one-stop shop for everything. Like if I don't know how to do it, then someone on my team will be able to do it. So yeah, reach out if you need something.
Beautiful. And do you have any final word of advice for anybody on this path?
Yeah. Call your friends. Call your friends. Tell them you love them. Make their day. They might really need to hear that today. You don't know. Say, hey man, love you. You're my brother. Thank you for that one time we had an argument a year ago, 2 years ago. I'm sorry. I was thinking about it. I never apologized to you. Really sorry, man. For the record. Set the record straight. Like, just for, sorry. And they might be like, yeah, cool, man, in the past, whatever. Or they might be like, oh my God, really needed to hear that today. Thank you. Appreciate the fuck out of you. You know, call your dad. Say, hey, Dad, I know you fucked up when I was a kid. I know you made some mistakes. It's okay. It's cool. Got over it. I'm a great person. You did a great job. Great dad. Look up to you. You're awesome. More of that. More of that type of stuff, people.
Yeah.
That's how we change the world. Call your friends. Say hi.
I love how you brought it all the way back. That's amazing.
Yeah, man. That's how we do this, man. That's the message. Change the world.
Well,
call your friends. Call your family. Say hi.
You heard the man. Make sure that's homework tonight. Call at least one person.
Call your friends. Say, hey man, haven't talked to you in a month, or haven't talked to you in a year. Sorry we lost touch. Miss you. Would love to hang out sometime. Guess what? They're probably not going to be like, hey man, fuck you. No, they're probably going to be like, oh my God, yes. Sorry too. I'm sorry I also lost touch. Would love to see you. Yeah, let's talk. How's life? You'll feel pretty fucking good. Trust me. Feel really good.
All right. Well, thank you once again for joining, and y'all tune until another episode. And until next time, peace out.
Thanks, man.